So finally, I wanted to be here live to talk about the end and the death, and especially for the Emperor because he has something in him which was never there before. I mean, it was never evident really before. Some people believed in it and some people didn't because the proof was that he wasn't noble. But now there is proof to the opposite. So in this stream, guys, I'm going to try to keep it as tight as humanly possible. We're going to discuss the end and the death. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the quality of the book. Is it a good 40k, 30k book? What is it? How is it in comparison with all the other books? And of course, how is the substance of it? We're also going to talk about some of the things that are super important, mostly focusing on the Emperor. And soon enough, hopefully, I'm going to be able to do some storytelling AI art of the book, whatever I can visualize. I'm going to tell the AI to the best of my ability to create what I imagine, which has proven to be extremely difficult and time consuming, but for sure it's not as time consuming as making any such image, because one of these images is going to be weeks, if not months, for me to create in a normal way. So the only way that these videos are possible is through AI, and I'm trying to learn how to work with it. You know, it's not like, oh my gosh, it's so easy, just type stuff and they come out. No, sometimes it's going to come out a sword out of the Emperor's freaking butt. So, not good. Not good. These are freaking the best results that I have achieved with AI. So it's not just entirely the AI, it also has to be me to some extent. The End and the Death Volume 2, Volume 1, I also did a review of it as I recall. Volume 1 was good, but it's just not as good as this, guys. This is very tense. This is an 18-hour of an audiobook because that is how I can consume content. That is the only way for me to read, basically listen, the 40k Warhammer books. 18 hours, and for the most part, I have to say they were not that much of a filler. I'm always complaining about the filler in these books because there are too many side characters and I don't care for the most part what the heck's happening with them. But this time there was, John Grammaticus, Acte, and a few more that actually did do something that was pretty freaking substantial. And there's a ton of elements here that are rather clear and ton of elements that are confusing. And to do justice to any of these moments, I really have to spoil the book. So we are going to talk about some spoilers, but not right now. I'm going to clear out all the non-spoiler things, and then we're going to continue with concrete spoilers. So if you don't want to know, you should not listen to that part. Okay, so first, quality of the book. It's a very good book. As I'm trying to say, it's very high level substance. The writing is pretty brilliant at times. I mean, Dan Abnett, this guy just outdid himself this time. There's so many lines, so many like different conversations and depth between each characters, and so many surprises. So this book kept me invested almost like 90% of the time, and in the 10% that I wasn't invested, those were the moments that I would consider, just sideline things, explanations of what is happening on the battlefield somewhere, which sometimes it was pretty awesome, where this amazing warrior chapter master from the Imperial Fist was trying to teach the White Scars how they should retreat. So if you haven't seen that, it's here on the channel. So that is just wise. It's a great moment. It is not, having any bearing on overall like the shocking moments of the book, anything like that, but it has meaning, it has substance, and it does apply to a lot of things. Just it's a widespread wisdom, so to speak, that covers just interesting, a wide variety of things in the universe. Principles of life. Anyway, So it is absolutely crazy for me to tackle anything in this book, but that's why we are focusing on the Emperor today. But I just want to say that everything that has to do with the Emperor is amazing. It is not a lot, but it's still more than I ever saw in any other book. I have not read all the heresy books, but for those that I have read, this is by far the best time and the most time that we have spent with the Emperor. Just glory to behold. Absolutely amazing battle between Horus and Sanguinius. You already know how this would end. You may not know that it's extremely brutal and sad, and it's just one of the worst things that can ever happen to any hero ever in fantasy. And Sanguinius is a hero because he has one of the most noble, purest qualities of any man, and he has goodness in him. The emperor might not be right for all of his methods, but in the end of the day, his primarchs, at least some of them, do have true loyalty, true goodness in them. They truly want to protect humanity and people that they care for. So it's not like they're evil and they don't care, they want to destroy everyone like Horus did. And Horus is like a totally different topic on its own. He also has many layers that I personally didn't really expect in this, but we also do see how chaos is on his head and in him, and it is him by that point of the story. Oh my god, there's so many things. And John Grammaticus, and that's not that important. Okay, and there's amazing moments with Malcador without spoiling anything. His time on the Golden Throne. That was just. Uh, I have no words really. I almost cried and a few times in this book because whatever Malcador says is emotional. It reveals his relationship with the Emperor and how close they really are. And for some person, a man, whoever, to be able to connect with someone on that deeper level. And we are talking about two men, the highest ranking men in the history of Earth, and for them to have such love, loyalty, respect for each other, you cannot think that the Emperor can be really a bad person in that case. But we're going to get back to that. So, so let us finish this because really there's a ton and it's better for me to talk with spoilers. So I'm going to end the non-spoiler section here and just going to say that this book is probably 9 out of 10, one of the best, if not the best, Horus Heresy books that I have personally read because although there are many, I have not read all of them. And I do think that it's not meh, like some people think, because there are just many meaningful things and story threads and character development and character conversations that are absolutely breathtaking, chill inducing. I don't even have more breath to express how meaningful this book is to bring me to tears. There are just not many things today that can move me, but because 40K is still true to itself and is not affected by modern crap, it retains this integrity, purity of heart, and in this book is just shines, absolutely shines. So I cannot wait for for volume 3. I really wish that we can end this in volume 2, and I was wondering what the heck we are going to learn here, guys, because 18 hours, what is so much in this book? Why? I'm like, why, but it is a ton and it is supposed to be there. It's not like you can take a lot of it. 18 hours are mostly not filler at all. It's mostly amazing content. Ariman is also there. Gabriel Loken. They're just great characters. So I have no idea how long then the volume 3 should or would be, but we have the Emperor and Horus battle left, and Arogo Dorn's stepping out and doing something. So it is, I don't know. I have to see when volume 3 comes out because I'm absolutely taken by the volume 2. It is actually worth a second read or a listen just because there's so many elements. And when I was listening to it, I was just like doing this, like recording times. I mean, I was just putting basically like an audio. How was the word for that? You know, when you try to just remember a certain part of the book, I just can't think about the word right now. But yeah, okay, so let's continue with the spoilers so we can get to the meat of things. So basically, guys, if you have seen my content when I started with Warhammer, which was like almost 3 years ago now, I have to check. I started analyzing the Emperor and, of course, other stuff from the whole universe and how the universe is made and all of that. And by all means, all of the proof, there's some like smaller books as well here and there. There's one with Malkador. All of the proof just pointed to the fact that the Primarchs were just tools for the Emperor. He did not think about them as his sons, he did not respect them or love them as his sons. And I was saying that very well confidently because, like I've said, all the proof just pointed straight to that. And what we learn here is that that was true. That was true, but to a certain point. So, from one particular moment, I guess, the emperor decided that, oh my gosh, I I can see the value of my sons. They were meant so that the emperor should not have to do everything. They are there so the emperor can do other things. They are there so the imperium could get larger and more controlled and all of those things. So they were tools. But when he created them, he actually gave them enough. Sorry about that, guys. The things that happen live. I hope that I'm not gonna lose my train of thought. Yeah, always just forget the stupid phone. Okay. But when he created them, he actually gave them individual qualities that are part of the emperor, but probably something else. Now there's some speculation, and maybe it's canon, maybe it's not canon, that the souls of the Primarchs are taken from the warp. But I don't know. This is something that maybe is gonna be further solidified or not later on. We don't know. But no matter if they have their own qualities and powers somehow, because the emperor went and talked with the powers of chaos. He made a deal and he made a Primarch. So he did get something. He did download something from the warp, whatever that was, in terms of power or whatever it is, the knowledge to create the Primarchs, even if it's only that. And he created the Primarchs, and they literally all have things that the emperor also does have. But maybe, just maybe, he didn't actually think that he would care initially. So whatever happened at a certain point happened, and he did care. So he did love his Primarchs, he did respect their achievements, and he actually acknowledged that he can learn something from them, which is absolutely amazing. Just gives more substance, more meaning to the universe and to the whole lore and to the emperor, and just proves that he's actually not big of an ass. But he has a conversation at the end of the book with one particular perpetual, O. I think his name is O, and he points things out. I mean, he was older than the emperor, which I found very interesting because I'm not familiar with his story just yet. But he was recalling about the times where the emperor was growing and developing, and the other perpetuals were trying to sway him in different directions. Basically, they were trying to influence his decisions because they also have opinions about stuff. So they're like, maybe you should be doing this, and maybe you shouldn't be doing that, and your ego is too big, and you're doing things that are totally out of proportion, and maybe you're thinking yourself to be as a god and you're growing too much in power. I mean, that is not directly said always, but it is implied, heavily implied as well. So So basically, yes, the emperor, whatever I said before, it is true that he is this egomaniac, that um, he tries to justify all of his doings by saying that there is no gods, there's no warp, and all those things. I mean, he does not mention the warp. He just like there's not anything. And at the beginning, I mean, the book, someone is talking to Horus, and I couldn't actually understand who that is. Kind of sounds that the Horus is talking to himself in his head, but I'm gonna further analyze that in the future. So basically, that voice says that was in the first video that I posted, the first visualization that I did from the book. That at the beginning the emperor was alone, there was really nothing, the gods weren't there, and all of those things. So he decided to become that creature for the universe to some extent, and to just make a destiny, make a meaning of everything. Okay, now I did say before, I mean, this is coming back to one of the things that I did guess basically. And when I listened to Dan Abnett and what he said about the gods, that they are indeed not real gods. So the emperor was right, and they were not gods. They're just these entities that grown in such power that we as humanity may identify them as godlike because how they compare to us. But in reality, they actually do not have a godlike status. They do have a ton of power. They do seem that they are gods, but their level of maturity, um, I mean, not only intelligence, but their level of maturity as entities is just not there yet. And also, gods have to be able to create something, and they really cannot spontaneously create stuff. Or maybe you can argue that Nurgle can create rotting things, but whatever he's doing is just degradation, and it's the opposite of creation. So it's not that. And all of the gods are created by humans, which I mean by humans and by other Xenos races, thoughts, feelings, whatever they experienced that was mostly negative, and you know, in the beginning was not negative, then became negative, and so on, because people did. And usually that's not the way. That's not the linear path of creating a god. It is like the opposite. That is really how demons can be drawn or created. Well, in other works of literature and what is established as some of the rules in literature about these things, you can probably argue on that, but Dan Abnett himself said that there are no gods, really. So he was right, the Emperor actually was right, and there are no gods. Mm. And then there's this amazing moment in the book where we see one of the Astartes, I forgot his name, he was fighting with actually Samus, which is pretty big deal. And he was able to withstand his power, basically his annoying torture, and to expose him as a fake creature, as a fake demon. Basically, to prove that he is like uh, really a conjured entity from people. He really does not have his own complete consciousness and individuality. He's just this mix of different negative, disgusting things that created some kind of a sentience, but not to the point where you can say, oh, yeah, that is well thought out, truly uh, created creature. Is just really, he's not all there. He's not all there. He's not all sentient. He's a little bit like an AI, a spirit AI who does not have answers for all of the things. He can repeat a lot, he can answer some, he can draw emotion and satisfaction from the suffering of others, but that's like more of a premature, not premature, it's very low level what was the word for that? Not premature. not immature. I mean, he is immature, that's for sure, but um, it is not a creature that knows completely what they are. It's not like a fully self-aware entity. Exactly. It is very infinite, not infinite, in his infancy, a demon in his infancy. So that is absolutely amazing because by doing that, this Astarte warrior was able to break his hold, absolutely destroy him, and that just speaks of the gods of the war. They are like the demon, but just higher level. Maybe they're more realized, they're more aware of themselves. That's for sure. I mean, by their actions, we can judge that they are. Okay, so I probably will talk 500 hours, so let's continue to the Emperor. I just want to touch upon that he was right actually. It's just the approach that he did, which was something that I also discussed before, that he was not correct in his approach to deceive everyone. If he was straightforward and he said, well, there is a warp and there are these creatures that affect us and the whole universe, they want dominion over all. It is their nature. It's like the animalistic drives that whatever drives animals to want, but to not really think, just to want, really in a powerful way. That is how the nature of the gods are. So he could be a lot more frank about these things, but he wasn't. And that led to a ton of confusion, of course. That led to the religion of himself eventually, and that was just not the right way to do it. Maybe he realizes it because all confronted him about it. And then he reached this part of his life where one of his sons, because of all of his lies, he decided to rely, sorry, on these false gods so they can empower him. They can give him these raw emotions, raw power, just raw, like animalistic strength in energy and whatever form to actually defeat his father and to have the audacity to think that he is not entitled and he does not have an ego, but his father does. Okay, Horus, but you are destroying humanity and your future is not better than whatever the emperor had planned. But the emperor also needed a wake up call, so he is not he is not actually the true goodness how some people that are really fangirls or mostly fanboys thought about him. He's not this idealistic image, but he's also not as bad as he seemed. So basically, GW decided to make him a bit more redeemable now, to make him better. And how did they do that? I'm gonna tell ya in a second, the meat of things. So basically, what he did when he saw the consequences of his actions, which is once again Horus falling to chaos. Those are the consequences of how the Emperor did all of the things that he did thus far. He's deceiving, twisting of the truth, telling half truths, all of that. So he decided to take as much as he can himself from the warp to become an actual god. And he was in the process of becoming an actual god, which Malkador also tells us. He tells us that in his state of basically being evaporated on the throne and still be aware of himself, which was absolutely amazing by itself, by the way. And yeah, I mean, Malkador deserves his own show, his own video entirely. So many things actually does here. Huh, so the emperor decided to take all of the power, become a god, and he thought that this is the only way to destroy Horus and and through that defeat chaos for a time. Okay, but the Aruman tarot cards reveal that wow, for my surprise, the Dark King is actually the Emperor. It is not Horus, it is the Emperor. And he will become the Dark King if he decides to actually use that power to really become a god. And he will not be aware of himself, I guess that is implied, because he will destroy not only Horus, but everything. The Imperium, humanity, probably the galaxy. The birth of his god, godliness, godhood, of he becoming a god. This whole process is going to destroy everything. So by winning over chaos, he will do this and he will not be able to control that process. That is what was implied. So this guy, Foe, explains to him a lot of the consequences, what can happen. He explains that himself, he did not see that he will become the Dark King. And that is explained also through the help of Malkador, who said that because him and the Emperor did not believe in the gods, they knew what they knew them for the false creatures that they were. They denied even these kinds of prophecies. They thought that the prophecies were shallow and they did not pay them any attention. But as it turns out, I don't know where these prophecies are coming from because that information has to come from somewhere. So it did, and they just didn't take that seriously. That is exactly what happened. And it makes sense because really the emperor did denied and resented everything that had to do with the supernatural by that point, while also enjoying the benefits of his own supernatural nature. Ha! Yeah, you can say that that's kind of a tiny little bit hypocritical, but because he felt that he is more, because he's a being of, you know, flesh, blood, and also able to be controlling of the Imperium in a certain way, he thought highly of himself, and that is understandable. The other gods cannot do what the emperor can. They do want to be in the materium as much as he is, but they're not. It is what they are coming from. I mean, if we created them, but they cannot come into that universe. They do not have dominion over the materium in that way that someone that's actually born in a body is. So another kind of like another topic here. Oh boy. So guys, we are reaching this point of the book where this conversation happens between Foe and a burned custody, almost burned to a crisp, along with other custody just laying dead. It appears that the emperor killed them all without him really wanting to. It's just like the process of becoming a god. And the emperor is actually talking through this dead custody. Maybe he is half dead. It kind of seemed like he is half dead, so sometimes the custodian himself was talking to everyone there and Foe and Gabriel Loken, but sometimes the Emperor was talking through him, so it was just extremely interesting. It was like both the custodian and the Emperor were conscious and in that body in the same time. It was really, really cool to behold. So the Emperor feels very assured of himself. He is trying to say to Foe, no, 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 this is the only way. I have to defeat Horus. Foe says, I agree, but just don't let it be this way. You should have the wisdom of a god and the courage of a man. That is just one of the most wise and beautiful things that I have ever heard. I'm really shaken to my core from some of these lines here. So yeah, have a wisdom of a god from your position. You can see. You have to tell me that you can see what you are doing in this moment. You just gotta you just gotta be able to see the impact that you're going to do, that you are becoming the Dark King. And the Emperor, from all of this, I mean, he's trying to be stubborn, but he just rises up with that burnt custody body, puts his arm over the shoulder of Foe, and says something like, the true king have to recognize his people's wisdom and somebody like you that lived so long and blah blah blah. I cannot I cannot repeat what the heck they said exactly, but I do have it on the book and it marked it, so I'll find it if I'm trying to visualize that eventually in the book. Oh my gosh, there's a beautiful puppy at my feet. And in that moment the emperor destroys basically his sphere that he also was like manifested in this sphere. It was all over I mean, it was huge in the sky. Rogodorn saw it from his desert world, probably in another dimension, and he was wondering what the heck that is. But it was also it was kind of like a wake up call, a bit like a notch, like that. There's something else, Rogo. Just don't forget who you are. You know, don't give in to chaos. That's once again another amazing storyline, and how Rogo Dorn actually did there and how he got out. All those things are amazing. So in that moment, basically everyone, and Abaddon did the spoiler as well, he sees that in the sky he is talking to that disgusting guy from the word Barris. Totally forgot his name right now. Jesus, Erebus? Correct me if I'm wrong. And Erebus explains to Abaddon what is happening and how the Emperor is becoming a god and the most powerful creature in all of the universe. And basically, if he wasn't that, Horus is the next best thing. And if he decides to choose humanity and choose to be not egotistical, he will not become a god and basically doom himself to death. But if he choose to be egotistical and choose the power, he will become a god and everyone will die. So for this guy Erebus, it's like a win-win situation because the emperor will always freaking lose. Okay, so the emperor becomes himself again. He appears in front of everybody. He's amazing in his golden armor and just amazing, and he heals everyone. There was a blast when he actually becomes human again, still extremely powerful, which is very highly like underlined because he's still extremely powerful. And he shields everyone from this blast, and he heals absolutely everyone. John Grammaticus as well, who by that point lost half of his face. And he goes further with his custodies that I think he regenerate the custodian that he was talking through. He did, and some others maybe, and they all went with the emperor, and the emperor then sent a psychic message to everyone to say that he needs them, and everyone heard him in different time, or at least I mean different to us, the same for everyone else probably. And it turns out that Foe and his gang have to now go back and put some clues on their path. So actually, this can occur because there are. It's so confusing, but there is no time. The warp changed time, and now everything is like one time. There's not like going forward in time, going back. And if you want something to happen, you have to go repeat it. So if they put breadcrumbs to follow, it means that they can do that and find the emperor and tell them all of those things. And if they don't go back to do that, this will never happen. So it's just extremely confusing. But yeah, that was the excuse for them to. I mean, because they wanted to go and fight with the emperor. The emperor said, "No, I need you alive. So you need to do those things. You cannot fight with me. You will die. You have to do this because you never talk to me. This would never happen, and the destiny would never change." Like this Castori said, the destiny of my master would not have changed. You have to go back. It's not sentimental. You just have to go and do it. Do it. Freaking do it right now. So yeah, that's how this happened. But guys, with this action, the emperor solidifies himself as somebody that does have noble qualities, that did decide to do one of the hardest, actually no one, the hardest decision in anyone ever lived, anyone that ever lived. Huh, because I mean the hardest decision, yes, because he gave up being a god. He gave up having the ultimate power, the first god of humanity, because the others just don't count. And he gave all of that up so he can save humanity, because it is underlined that what really truly is within him, what really concerns the emperor, what really he holds dear is humanity. This whole wanting to be the first, I mean, to be the leader, to be the emperor, it was all about humanity. Maybe, he's not doing it right, but he wants the good of humanity. He wants to protect humanity, he wants for humanity to survive and probably thrive, hopefully. So, for 10,000 years, he was patient to put a lot of moving pieces into place so he can build and build and build. That is the actual idea. So there were some things that Paul said to him that was kind of like condescending, and for some things he was right, and for some things he wasn't because he's not in that position. And we often think very low of people that are in higher places and in position of power because we think that like it's so easy to just to rule and to make decisions, and if you don't make all the right decisions you're an idiot. But sometimes things are not as simple as they seem. Sometimes there's a lot of obstacles in the way, and as much as the leader is strong or smart, not always is the right time for certain things, not always is the right decision in the eyes of other people, because sometimes you have to choose the greater good for something else. Here we don't really know because, as I said, for all the things that the emperor did do up to this point, there are so many wrong decisions, there are so many bloodshed, total slaughter, and all of that. So we do have to literally interview the emperor if he wants to explain himself about why did he do all the things that he do, and what is his end goal and vision for humanity. Did he really plans for humanity to thrive and prosper and be healthy and happy, and not the squalor and the dumb that it's now when he's on the golden throne? Obviously that's not something that he can help in that state directly, so there's that. Anyway, guys, so I just want to emphasize that whatever he has done here to give up this power, the ultimate power, that speaks of his amazing, just amazing ego, not driven decision, finally, and that he's willing to risk losing to his own son just to give a chance to himself to defeat his son, and thus having some glimpse of hope that maybe, just maybe, if he wins, humanity will continue forward. If he doesn't, but he would try, he would fight with the courage of a man and the wisdom of a god. That is how you have to do it, especially if you want to defeat such a god, because truly, if he just blows up the whole universe, he would do this massive act that I'm not really sure if even the chaos gods would like feed on that or be destroyed by that. And that's not really clear. And then we were talking about on the community tab that if the emperor wakes up, one person said he will become a god again and will destroy all humanity. I don't think so. If ever the emperor comes back, he would be um, well, either a god, but with the ability to control himself, and this process will take place in the warp, so he does not destroy humanity. That's actually an idea. Or he will not become a god, but he will gather enough strength to fight chaos, and he will have the abilities to just use the power without letting that power corrupt him, and without deleting his personality and his character, what makes him him. Also, we saw the creation of the Star Child, and literally Malkador calls it Star Child, which is basically the Emperor's good qualities, his remorse, uh, his love, I think, and whatever pity he can take on Horus when he fights him. So he wants all of those things that could stop him, that could restrain him some way, to be removed, so he can absolutely go all out on Horus's ass and make him suffer and bleed the way that he made suffer and bleed Sanguinius. Yeah, that's what brought up. Okay, so That's the new lore. That is what we found out about the Emperor and all of his actions now. The fact that he revived Gilliman. I mean, it's not all because of his personal gain. He wants to succeed, so humanity can succeed. That's the current bottom line of the character of the Emperor, guys, and we'll see how it is going to be in the future. Now, you can do this if you like to see all the future content, of course, that I'm going to cover. If you like me to help you personally with some personal issues, which I'm also a coach for, this is everything that I actually offer at OnlyFans, because OnlyFans is actually a good video platform where I can upload content that I just cannot upload on YouTube because, well, many reasons. So it is exclusive there, and it's 100% helpful, and of course it's me there and I can talk to you personally. So guys, let us put the fireworks, and I wish you a very happy weekend. I'm going to work on some visualizations. I don't know where to start because the book is so amazing. Maybe the fight with Sanguinius. Maybe I ask that in the community tab, whichever moment of the book you like me to try to make a visuals out of it, so you can actually be there and have some kind of a really image of how things transpired. I love you guys. I hope that you enjoy this analysis, and see you later with me, the Warhammer 40k Empress. Bye bye.